Ladies, gentlemen, welcome to a Connoisseur's Conversation. Today, I'm sitting back doing a little essential reading. This is the Cigar Journal, this month's Cigar Journal. If you guys are into cigars, I'm sure you already know about this particular novel reading experience that they have produced. This one has Jorge Padron, who is the legacy builder and holder for Padron Cigars. It's been a great read so far. But while I was out here relaxing, drinking coffee, and doing some thinking and reading, I wanted to put out a review real quick for a fragrance that is a long time coming from my channel. I've had it for a few months now, and it's a fragrance that goes in the collection of decadent, rich fragrances by the house of Cartier. I've introduced you guys to Oud and Amber, Oud and Oud, and now I want to introduce you guys to Oud Santal. So if this sounds like the type of content you think that you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to dive into a fragrance from the house of Cartier. This is Cartier Oud Santal from their luxury and premier line that I think, like I stated, this is the long time coming from a fragrance on my channel. Usually when I get fragrances in, I'll wait a few months and then introduce it after having a long-time experience outside of sampling. This one here I've waited long enough for because I think that many of you going into the fall and autumn spring or fall and autumn weather will enjoy this fragrance greatly, and it's one that can amplify anyone's collection or wardrobe. Oud Santal from the house of Cartier is one of the most phenomenally made plum fragrances that I've smelled on the market. Now, I have a collection that I want to introduce you guys to in one of my formula videos coming up, the formula of plum. When it comes to plum in a fragrance, the exemplary way that Mathilde Laurent put this one together is phenomenal. She did one of the best jobs in formulating a decadent, alluring fragrance while still staying elegant and comfortable. And in my opinion, that is one thing that is very difficult to do in some fragrance styles, and especially when it comes to a spiritual note like this note of sandalwood. It can be one of the most velvety, rich fragrances that you've ever smelled because of sandalwood and the way she used it. But at the end of the day, the aroma profile and the fit and structure of this particular scent, the ways it goes, the wearability of it is one phenomenal scent. So when it starts out, you get one variation of plum and one variation of what sandalwood can do, along with the agarwood and oud accord that they love to put inside their fragrances. The liqueur style of plum is a secondary style. When it opens up, it smells of this ripe, velvety, cooling mulled fruit accord, like not mulled, but cooked plum, almost like a pie, a decadence of a pie, along with the actual agarwood, which is this depthful woody accord, slightly animalic, slightly manurish, but not anything off-putting. It's the kind that almost smells of that you know you're putting on the luxury fragrance. So when I say manurish, I'm meaning that barnyard oud that everybody comes to welcome in an oud scent when they've gotten to the luxury accorded oud fragrances. The sandalwood in this one is the creamy, milky facet of sandalwood at first, for the first hour or so. All of that lays inside this bed at first. And then what she was able to do was use the three accords that she stated twice over. And so going into the base of this one, you get the rich, velvety sandalwood going into the green facets, and a mixture of what I see not listed as immortelle in this particular scent. So the immortelle is that hay-like tobacco scent, along with, I think, also a little bit of labdanum. That richness, leather take, and sweetness with that honey tonality of labdanum, along with the plum accord that turns into a velvety rich decadence, is one of the best ways that she was able to formulate this fragrance. And so what I'm able to understand and conjure for this one is that over a 4-hour time span, you get one of the richest developing fragrances, from the opening of the lively and brightness of each accord to the dark and sensual part of each accord. And that's one way to phenomenally put together a fragrance, in my opinion, because you're used to seeing fragrances evolve from the top notes of things like bergamot to the mid notes of things like tobacco or labdanum, and then the base notes of heavy velvety, ambery richness and woodiness. But what she was able to do was take each note and use the variations in stages, and that's one phenomenal way that she did this particular scent. So for me, the comfortable elegance, the mature decadence of this one is one that's going to be great for you guys, including myself, as a fall and winter wear fragrance. Oud Santal is one that I think is so sexy that I cannot wait to actually put this profile into my date night rotation. It is a great projector, a great sillage, and it's one that comes off as an exemplary note of all three. And like I stated, the ones I don't pick up or do pick up, I honestly pick them up and can actually observe them working in the fragrance, is Immortelle. And I can get that Immortelle in fragrances like I stated in my last conversation when I mentioned this, the Oud, or not Oud, but the Plum Japonais. That Immortelle in there is this hay-like sweetness. And then labdanum is one thing that's in a lot of fragrances because it's a rich profile that adds a lot of nuance to it. And you can pick up the hay and honey nuance of labdanum in this particular scent, which is just phenomenal the way she enriched it. For me, this is a fragrance, if I was to talk about wearability and I were to put it against certain fragrances in my collection as a night of choosing, this would go against fragrances like Creation E. This will go against fragrances like Plum Japonais, like I mentioned. This will go against fragrances like Pardon. And if I was putting together my attire for an evening out or date night, and I want to have a fragrance choice, those are the fragrances that will be on my cabinet to be introduced into the night. And what I would choose a lot of times I'm feeling is Oud Santal by the House of Cartier. It's a very beautiful scent, very well-rounded, very velvety, smooth, and decadent fragrance that I think all you guys should get your nose on. Like I stated, the performance is phenomenal. Each one of these actual fragrances is the category of the Cartier brand is just phenomenally wearing fragrances. This one goes at a projection cloud, and I mean a cloud for about 5 hours. Then it settles down and settles back to about, I'd say anywhere near a 2-foot radius around the body, and sillage is phenomenal on this one. Every time I've worn it, it has been one of those compliment magnet style of fragrances. I can tell from the way it's mentioned in conversation, I can tell by the people I've let smell it, and I can tell by the way it wears that I know I'm getting good attention. And so Oud Santal is one that you guys should get on your radar. I hope that this review points you in the right direction of what it is and wearability and likability, because for me, this is one that I am certainly happy that I've gotten to my collection. Cartier did a great value add to their collection by adding these scents in as their premier line, and I think that the continuation of adding these Eastern Orientals, sweet, spicy, woody, and seductive, are a great way to expand their brand. All in all, Oud Santal is one that you guys should get on your radar. Like I said, it's the 3 accords mentioned. It opens with the top lightness of them. It ends with the richness and velvety smoothness of those note accords, and it has a bit of labdanum and Immortelle in it to my nose. So that's Plum, that's Sandalwood, and that's Oud. And this is one phenomenal wearing fragrance to capture a phenomenal gentleman and or lady. More masculine, of course, for this one, because Oud Santal is a lot more creamy masculine than this one. But at the end of the day, this is one that you guys should get your nose on. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my video for you guys today. I hope that I introduced this great fragrance as one that is very much so going to be a sought after fragrance in my opinion if you don't get your hands on this one. This is a very beautiful shadow play of lust, love, and luster and elegance. It's one that I think with the liqueur facets and with the woody velvet texture of this one is going to be a hit for the community. It's not a new fragrance, but it's one that I'm hoping I'm putting on your radar to pick up or at least sample when you go into your Cartier boutique, so you can find them online. Once again, Oud Santal by the House of Cartier was today's Connoisseur's Conversation. As always, if you guys have found something entertaining or educational about this particular video, all that I ever ask that you do is hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And until next time, until the next video, peace.